Hola, are you there? Hola, I'm not sure we can hear you. Maybe it's your mic or something. Is Ola still talking? We can't hear you. Can you guys hear me? Yinka, can you hear me? Can you do like a thumbs up or something like that if you can hear me? I can't hear you, Ola, for some reason. Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay. That's me then. Okay, sounds great. Thanks. Nice to see to hear from you, Ola. And if you can share your URL, LinkedIn URL, so that folks can connect with you, that would be great too. Okay, good. Okay, awesome. So who else want to go? I don't want to pick on anybody this time. Who is ready to go? Anybody? Uh, Hi, Emmanuel. How are you doing? Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thanks for the introduction. Really appreciate having you here. And if you can share your LinkedIn URL, that'd be great too. Who else wants to go? Okay, go ahead. Let me check who that is. Um, okay, who is? I think it's Tosin that was. Who was speaking just now? Chika. Okay, Chika, you can go. Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, nice to meet you, Chika. Yeah, so we'll look more into more details about how you can connect and then you can build your network here. Yeah. So who else wants to go? Right. Go ahead, Dada. Right. Oh, nice, nice. Right. Okay, great. Awesome. Thanks. I think so far I've been seeing supply chain folks. Nice to see that. Yeah. So any other person? Tosin, you want to go now? Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Any other person? Yeah. Go ahead, John. Mhm. Awesome. Yeah. Please don't forget to share your LinkedIn as you introduce yourself. Any other person there? John, go ahead. Mm, awesome. Great. Nice one. Who else? Need to move it fast a little bit. Who else want to introduce themselves? Okay, so you know what? We'll come back to the guys who haven't introduced themselves yet. Let's just quickly see what we can do here with the presentation that I have. I'm just going to be talking about the sociocultural challenges in Canada, which some of you guys who have been here for some time you know this already. You're probably experiencing it already, but maybe what we are going to be able to do here is to actually share some insights from from some of us who have been here for some times, having experienced the same challenges. Maybe you can learn one or two things from us. In terms of the cultural norms in Canada, okay, just give me a second here. I think I need to share my screen with you guys. Okay, let me share my screen here. Can you see my screen now? Okay. Yeah. Okay. See better now? Can you still see my screen? Okay, great. Yeah. So when it comes to the cultural norm in Canada, I mean, Canada, you would say it's a social. I mean, it's a there's social cultural diversity in Canada. Of course, the makeup of Canada is majorly of people from other culture aside from the Aboriginals, right? So, in a way, you will kind of think that being a multicultural environment makes it easy for you, like somebody who's coming from a different culture, to integrate easily, but it is not necessarily the case because as it is, having people from all of these different culture over the years merged into Canada really has created what you would also call the Canadian culture, of course, deeply influenced by North America's culture, that is United States, and also the European culture, or it's the what we'll call the predominant culture. So even if you have this bubbles of other cultures in Canada, be the Nigerian, the Jamaican, or let's say the Ukrainian culture and all of that, there is still predominantly that the Western culture that we also see here in Canada. And some of the things here you guys might have experienced it. So I thought, okay, instead of me just talking about it, why don't just I give you the opportunity to tell us what this experience looks like, having experienced it yourself so far. So what you see me showing you here is slido.com. So if you can go to slido.com, basically is a place where you can just tell us what you think the culture of Canada as is in terms of your own experience. So go to slido.com and then put in these numbers there. So while I'm going through the slides, you can be doing that, and we'll come back to that later to look at what you guys can speak of in terms of the Canadian culture. So I will type it here also in the chat box, slido.com, and the code to use is 1668803. Okay, 1668803. That there you have it. So let me know. Give me a second here. So hopefully it's working at your end. Let me know if it's not working. Okay. Okay. So yeah, there are different ways you can think about the Canadian culture, the family life. There are a lot of different types of family structure here in Canada, and of course, being that we have several cultures that are merging here over time, the nuclear family culture thing, it's sort of giving way to all these different types of culture that you have here in Canada. The one that I'm going to emphasize is the passcode. Did you say the passcode? So I gave a code there in the chat box. If you're talking about the poll, and so the social interaction is something that is a little bit different from what probably we are accustomed to. There's what you call power distance in culture generally. So it seems that the culture that I am coming from, the power distance is very, very, high in terms of if you are reporting to somebody who is your supervisor, there's a tendency for you to, um, to give some type of reference to that person, and some of it shows up in a situation where when you're talking to this person, you're sort of bowing your face down. You're not really looking at the person's to talk to the person face to face. And this, when you do this in Canada, of course, it's not a Canadian culture. Canada, when it comes to the power distance, it's not like where what we have it where we're coming from. You're mostly regarded as mates within your your team, even though this person is your supervisor. You are supposed to engage as if you are talking to them like a colleague, and you're supposed to look into their face when you are talking to them. And if you are not looking at them, then probably you're not. It could be mistranslated as you're not saying the truth, or you're not confident, or something of that nature. So sometimes when you go to interviews and they see these type of things and they start reading it, they could see it differently than you, the way you have thought about it. So these are some of the things that are really creating those social cultural, barriers for a lot of us who are still trying to adjust to the culture here. And probably maybe I will hear some of this from you guys who are, responding to the poll. So, well, I won't go. Oh, sorry, my bad. I think I was chatting with somebody before, so that's so that's the person I was sending the code to. Okay, so you should have it now. Okay, okay, good. Thanks for letting me know. Otherwise, I would just have been going and not knowing. Okay, so here are some of the challenges. One of the major challenges that this really brings up is the language barriers. This was a significant challenge for newcomers. It impacts their effective communication and also comprehension or even clarity in their communication when they are engaging either at the workplace or even outside of the workplace. I'm sure a lot of you guys, when you came into Canada, you thought, okay, you were educated in English language, right? And then you open your mouth to talk, and then you're hearing, pardon me. Apparently, because the there's a barrier, there's a language barrier that is going on, and it gets actually very um, blown up even at workplaces, in the sense that it could be interpreted in different direction. I have experienced it. I'm telling you my personal experience working in Canada, where my supervisor is telling me that, oh, the way I write, blah blah blah, like it's too big grammar, and not a lot of people are kind of understanding what I'm writing. Or in some cases where they could even translate it to mean that you're not performing at work. I'm telling you my personal experience here. So the language barrier is not only even when you are just looking for a job. The language barrier can also get in your way when you already have a job and it's affecting your performance, so to speak. So limited social skills. This also happening from the fact that you're new to Canada. You don't really know a lot of people within the industry, so this could also hinder your professional connection, reducing your visibility in the marketplace. Lack of social capital. This happens for maybe a lot of people who maybe like me, who are introverts and they're not really like engaging socially. This would also impede their ability to build their social capital, which is the opportunity for them to be able to you know build their social network, which gives them access to career or job opportunities. And the other one is the hidden job market. Because of all of these barriers, it is possible that you don't actually engage or socialize your job search. All you're just doing is applying randomly to jobs online, which is the very ineffective job search method, right? So that is some of the barriers. Um, okay, let me go back a little bit here. I think my system is a little bit slow here. So the language barriers, as you can see, In essence, we have pronunciation and accent issue. And I don't know if some of you guys already are experiencing this. Well, the issue of articulating ourselves sometimes could happen because we don't have that confidence because we're talking, somebody is saying, pardon me, every time. And now, how do you have confidence to be able to even articulate yourself in this type of environment where it appears that nobody is even hearing what you're saying, even though you thought you had a PhD in English, right? So there's also the industry specific languages, that is understanding the languages they use in the industry. And of course, that will definitely impact your job search one way or the other. We have effective communication workshops, public speaking workshop, networking, for language and also industry specific language workshops that could help with that. So I think this is the part that I will also like to hear from people who have either gone through this or um, gotten some solutions through some of the workshops that we have had before. And I think we have Anne, and then we have Yinka. Are you guys there? Is Anne there and Yinka there? If you can quickly share with us in terms of the effective communication workshops that you guys have attended. What are the things that resonates with you in terms of how these issues is being addressed, especially the ones that I've mentioned so far? And if you're not ready, Yinka can go first. Is Yinka there? Okay. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, go ahead. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Yinka. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thanks. Okay, great, great. Thanks, Anne, for sharing. Yeah, I mean, like Anne is saying, when it comes to speaking effectively, there are several aspects to it. Apparently, a lot of people will think it's just about the pronunciation or it's about the accent, but there are a whole lot of other, um, you know, stuffs that makes an effective communication. And I think this is what Anne is also alluding to here. And yeah, definitely we'll talk more about the effective communication as we proceed so that you will get more information related to that particular session. So let me share my screen once again, and we can look at more of the share my screen. Okay. Oh, you can see the screen there. Uh, yeah, so I'll continue with the slide here. Let me give me a second. I'm trying to share it so that people can also hear me on the. So I want to believe that the slide result is ready. Give me a second here so that I can share that also. Okay. Okay, I see. Describe a Canadian experience of culture shock in one word. So we have communication, language barrier, sensitive, friendly, confusing. Hmm. Okay, so just about five people, I think, actually responded to this, if not four. So you can continue to add to that. I'll leave it open throughout, and hopefully I can come back to it later. Okay, so well, the lack of social capital, I think I already emphasized on. This is actually something that is also very major. Really, it's about not having access to the right people. How do we say it differently? That you know, um, you can connect to it in the way we express it back home, like not knowing people. So they will say something like, your network is your net worth, right? If you don't know people, well, how do you get things done, or how do you gain access to the right opportunity? So this is really what this lack of social capital is about, and a lot of it, it's something that you're able to improve upon by networking, or engaging in networking activity, but not only just showing up. That is really not networking. I like to emphasize this every time, because a lot of the times it's always thrown out there that, oh, you should go on network, you should go on network. But networking really is about adding value. So it's one thing for you to go out there and connect with people. It's another thing for you to actually nurture those relationships that you are building as you're networking, and learning about those people so that you can add value to what they are doing. I can give example, a lot of people who have come through our network are here in the supply chain industry network that have actually helped in that manner, whereby they put their time, their effort towards helping to build a network. They share their resources, and this way it becomes a social capital for them. And I can give an example of actually the car that just spoke not quite long ago. We have this industry connect that we did last year, where he participated as um, a volunteer. And, you know, recently when he had a job interview and they were looking for references, and well, he reached out to me and see how I can help with that. I'm like, okay, well, why not? Because I have some things that I could provide in terms of how he has helped, and that way it's easy for me to be able to give him a reference, even though he hasn't worked for me as if I'm, the supervisor, right? So this is what we mean by adding value. In fact, I remember very well that there was a question they asked me specifically when I was on the phone providing that reference. They asked me, okay, what is one thing that he has done to actually maybe help improve a situation? That is a tough question for me to answer, because it's not like he worked for me that I'm supervising his work. But I remember during that event what he actually did, and I remember right on the spot what he did. There was a time when one of the speakers was having issues with speaking with the audiovisual, right? And I remember that particular instant, and I mentioned that to the lady who was asking me about how he has helped improve. Yeah, there was a time where we had issues with the audio visual system, and we reached out immediately to help fix that audio visual situation. So my point here is this: that when we talk about networking, is really about building your social capital. And how do you do that? By adding value to the people that you are meeting. Not just, oh, I met this person. Okay, so you met 10 people here today, right? Then after that, what? Right? So you have to take it to the next level by connecting with these persons one to one, and then learning about their own journey, and then from there learning how can you support what they are doing, or how can you provide information that could help them. In the same manner, you could do it with our supply chain industry network here, where we actually have several ways that you can support depending on what is of interest to you. So I will leave that. You can see all of the other things that they mentioned here: active participation, volunteering, and etc. Okay, so let's move on. Hidden job market. So this is also another one that I will put more focus on. When it comes to hidden job market, I'm sure you've heard it already here in Canada that a lot of jobs are actually filled through the hidden job market. They will say this way, that 80% of the jobs that are actually available in the market are hidden. So what they are saying in essence here is that the people will help you um, in your job search. it will help you to be more effective in your job search than if you're just applying the jobs randomly. And I do say it a lot of the times that most of the jobs that we have out there, they actually already identified somebody, believe it or not. 80% of the jobs that are posted online, they already identified somebody. So you might have the question that, okay, so why did they post it online? Well, HR asked them to do that. Because I used to compare it a lot with procurement because I'm from the procurement world, and this is the way it works. I'm a project sponsor. I want somebody to do some job, okay, or I want to buy some equipment for some of the project I'm working on. You realize that these project sponsors have policies in their organization through which they have to make these purchases. And one of those policies saying that if you are purchasing anything above $25,000, that you need to get more quotations. You can't just pick one person and say, oh, that's the person. Exactly the same thing in HR. You can't just, oh, we want to fill this role. I have a brother or I have a sister or I have somebody that, I think can do it, and then just put that person in that role, right? That would never happen, even in small businesses. So, and this is what is going on. What that means is that if you do not actually know people who are within this industry who are looking to fill this role, your chances of becoming the preferred candidate is very, very low. Meaning you are applying as a random candidate. They don't know you from nowhere. Trust is very, very key in any business. And any random candidate that is applying to these jobs represent a risk, several risks. Okay, it could be flight risk. Okay, you get this job, is too low for you. In the next 1 week, you take off. Okay, there's also the risk that they employ you, performance risk. You can't really do the job because, of course, everybody embellishes their resume, right? So my point here is when you actually know somebody that was referred because they've seen their job somewhere else, they've done something somewhere else, and they say, okay, I know this person has done something like this before. The chances that that person is going to become the preferred candidate is very high. And this also happens very early in the job, the recruitment process. Okay, so if you are coming late as a random candidate, the chances that you will be the preferred candidate is nil, so to speak. So a lot of the times when you're applying to jobs online, you are actually applying, you are competing with a preferred candidate when you're applying to jobs online. So you need to take that away. If that's something you need to take away from today, know that most of the jobs that you are applying to, you are potentially competing with a preferred candidate. Okay. So this is the way I could describe it better. You have this the hiring pyramid is what we call it. The hiring pyramid basically is telling you how job search works, or let's say recruitment works. So basically, this is how the employer search for employees or how they fill the roles. So basically, they go from employees and contractors that are working for them already. If they can fill that role with somebody else who is probably working as a contractor or is a consultant, they can ask their employees, "Do you know somebody?" Or they could reach out to their networks to also look for somebody. So all of this, the thing here is to take away from this particular diagram here is that all of these are happening at the same time as when they posted that job online. So they posted a job online, but at the same time, they are looking for the right candidate, what I call the preferred candidate. So, well, maybe something you could also try to do differently is how do you become the preferred candidate? That will be the major puzzle for you to solve. And this is some of the things that you need to understand when it comes to job search in the marketplace. So this is the hiring pyramid that I'm talking about here. So the hiring pyramid here. The other thing you need to notice is that the way that job seekers are searching for jobs is opposite direction to the way that employers are actually filling those roles. And if you are somebody who has always been applying to jobs online and not exploring any other means, it, what that translates to is that you're applying to jobs randomly, and your chances are very slim. And what this really leads to eventually is frustration. It leads to frustrations because you're not hearing from anybody most of the time. I know you're probably familiar with that. That random feedback they also give you. Oh, you're a wonderful candidate. However, we found somebody who is a better fit for the job. So this is a very coded feedback. You can translate in any way, but one of the ways that I would say, one of the things I can say is happening is that they have a preferred candidate. So, and they are telling you indirectly, we had to put this online. We had a preferred candidate. However, we thought you're a good candidate, but we had somebody who is a preferred candidate because of the trust that that person probably had built, right? Through the network that they have identified that person. So one of the ways we try to address this particular issue is what we call the job search roadmap. So these are like things that you should be doing differently going forward. So four things, there are a lot of it, but this is just four of them. Get a mentor. So you realize that the topic of this session is navigating the social-cultural barriers. There's a reason why it's called social-cultural barriers, right? So you don't want to do this just like it's a paperwork process. It's human beings that will hire you anyways. So it's not a paperwork thing, absolutely the way they have taught us in school. People still want to connect with folks who they can engage with in person without necessarily relying totally on a piece of paper. So in the same vein, when you are engaging the industry, go through people who have been through this journey themselves and they understand what you're going through. When you are hitting your head against the wall, you're probably not talking to people is the reason. You don't have a mentor, and you don't have somebody who already has gone through those challenges to say, okay, maybe this is what you're not doing correctly, do it differently. So a mentor is very, very important for any journey for that matter. And then also for job search, it is very critical. The next thing is you need a job search strategy, because the one that is effective. And I've hinted what that job search strategy is. You need to socialize your job search. A lot of you are doing too much of paperwork job search, and it's getting in your way. It's not difficult. It's not easy to socialize a job search. I know that, especially with all those barriers that we talked about, like the lack of social capital, and then some people are introverts like me. They find it difficult to actually able to engage stranger or somebody who hasn't really been introduced to them. So all of those challenges are there, but regardless, you need to socialize your job search so that you can cut out the waste and also reduce the frustration on your journey. Um, the next one here is seek feedback. There are different ways through which you seek feedback. This is also part of socializing your job search. If you're doing online, you're probably trying to get feedback from the hiring manager, and you know how easy that is, right? Yeah, well, you're probably not hearing from anybody. Sometimes you will even be ghosted. That's just the truth. Sometimes you even be ghosted, where you will try to get feedback from them and then they will disappear. You won't hear from anybody. So it's because you have been trying to go through this difficult paperwork process instead of socializing your job search. So how can you do things differently? One of the ways I always advise is try to know somebody within that company. It's not like you want to force them to do anything for you or to influence anything, but at least this is somebody who understands the process. They know what their process looks like. They know if they have 2 stages, 3 stages. They know what should happen after all of that. And that way, you could even get an idea of what is going on, not just being frustrated because you're not hearing anything. I'll give you an instance of somebody who I've worked with before. So this lady, I've told him about doing this specifically, reaching out to people within the industry where you're applying to. And she did that. Now, the interesting thing about the person that she reached out to is this person already left that company. Okay, so she's not working in that company anymore. But in either way, you will see that LinkedIn will show you the people who have left that company. So I think that's how she got across to that person. So this person was actually now telling her that, look, that job, I actually resigned from it. And that place is actually a toxic work environment. I would never recommend anybody to work in that company. Now, there you are, somebody who is desperate about getting a job, praying that that job they should interview them, and this is a job that a person already left because it is a dead end. So you will realize that if she hasn't really reached out in the manner that I've described now, she wouldn't have known that that job is a dead end. And nobody will come out of the company who is currently still working for the company and tell you that, oh, it's not a good place to work, even though sometimes I know they will tell you in confidence. But my point here is that you wouldn't have had any clue that you are going in the wrong direction if nobody had told you that, oh, that place is not a good place to work. And for us who are foreign trained immigrant, black, minorities, we need to have those type of information so that you don't end up in a dead end job. All right. So the last one, see, in terms of seeking feedback, I also mentioned getting things like informational interview. This is where people can help you out, in terms of giving you information about the company through those who are working there. The other one is also mock interviews. Mock interview is a very, very effective way for you to get feedback about how you have been doing in your job search. Mostly, a lot of people might get interviews, but they're not converting them. But if you do a mock interview, even though it's mock, it puts you in that mental state of you doing an interview whereby it gets you mentally ready. And you can also get feedback on what you're probably not doing right, especially given you have not really been converting your interview. A mock interview is like a very, very effective way for you to get feedback on how to get better. Now, the final one is upgrading your mindset. So this kind of captures everything in terms of the approach of the job search roadmap. That the job search roadmap is in itself is a continuous improvement. We develop it through research in lean methodology, and we realize that the way for you to not be frustrated in job search is to have this type of mindset, also called a growth mindset. It's also called a growth mindset. So it's not a mindset where, oh, you think everything should work out fine the first time, everything should be perfect, and because of that, you are getting frustrated because a lot of folks go into job search thinking of only one outcome. The only outcome they are looking at is, I got the job, but it doesn't happen that way. Job search, or let me put it this way, in a better way for you, any success, any success is a failure under control. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. Any success at all is failure under control. So if there's anything you're looking to do successfully in life, no matter what that thing is, you need to have some expectation of, okay, it may work out well or it may not work out well. If it doesn't work out well, what can I do different? What can I learn from that event? Okay, of failure. So I call it an event. The reason I call it an event is that a lot of people a personalized failure. That is a internalized failure. When they go through a failure event, they internalize it as if they are the ones that failed. You know what I'm talking about. So for this reason, instead of them to focus on the event to see how they can improve it for any future interview or any future engagement, they internalize it and now focus on themselves as the source of failure. And this is a cycle where if you're not careful, it just keep on going, and it leads to what I will call loss of self-esteem, where you no longer even believe in yourself because you internalized it as if you are the one that failed. But it's not that about that event anymore. It's about you. And then you go into this lack of self-esteem situation, and then eventually it leads to what we call job search depression. And I used to tell people that when you go to job search depression, what is really happening is you've now, given up. And even when you see a job you are qualified or you have the experience, you have the qualification, you would not apply to it once you're in job search depression, because you would want to avoid that pain. You internalize that pain. You didn't address it by doing some type of review, some type of what we call journaling, and all of this type of therapy thing related, but not exactly that. And just kind of giving you an idea on a psychological level what is going on, and you then avoid that pain of rejection, the pain of you call it failure, because you thought it was failure and you didn't see it just as a failed event. So upgrading your mindset is very, very, very important. And for me, it really captures everything that is going on here when we talk about job search roadmap. Okay. So I don't know if you guys have questions. I'm still kind of waiting for questions. Oh, I didn't see anything. Okay. Somebody said there is a noise here. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's see what we have next year. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to share with you today, but I don't know if there's any question. Um, if you don't have any question for me, let me see if we have anything here still on the slide. Okay. Okay, so I think confusing, networking, interesting. Okay, so well, nothing much going on here in terms of the Slido. So now if you don't have any question, I do actually have a survey that I would like to show. Okay, Samuel, what's your question? I didn't hear you clearly. Can you speak a little bit louder? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so the next one is happening in March. So let me share. Just give me a second here. I'm going to share the link quickly for that. It's happening in March. We actually have a consultant that does this for us. So, and he's a very well known person who one of the speakers at our last Industry Connect event, like you heard from Anne. So let me think, yeah, March. So that's when it's happening. I hope you can see my screen. Okay. So I'm going to share that with you. Okay, so let's see there. So that's the link to the event. I hope I'm sharing that with everybody. Just give me a second. I didn't hear you clearly. I hope you can see that now, right? Okay. Okay. So let's go to the other stuff that I have this survey that I want you guys to also help me quickly complete, for this section. Just kind of understand the nature of the challenges you probably might be having in your integration here in Canada. Okay, so this is the link for that survey. It's all completed. I'm also going to share that with those guys on. So let me share this here as well. Okay. 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 So one of the solution we developed to really cover everything here is called the Job Search Accelerator. It's a 90 days job search support. Um, so basically, it's a comprehensive service that is able to expedite your job search journey. You have access to mentorship, informational interview, mock interviews, personalized coaching and guidance. So everything concerning what you should be addressing specifically in your job search. We'll do an assessment as a first thing. Through this assessment, we'll understand what your challenges are, what your weaknesses are, what are the things that should be prioritized. Because sometimes a lot of people just are just all over the place. For example, folks who have supply chain experience, they come into Canada and because they've been told that, oh, you need Canadian work experience, then they start exploring some career that they don't even have any experience in, like business analysis, right? And then they start doing all sort of certification, thereby not actually consolidating on their strength what they really have experience in, whereby they know where this road leads to, but then they go on this path where they don't even know where the road leads to, because of course there's a lot of marketing going on in the industry where people are being sold this six-figure salary, blah 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 blah, and then they go pay money for these certifications so that they could get job quicker. But it doesn't really happen that way. If you there's no silver bullet for this thing. Like I've mentioned earlier, it's really about upgrading your mindset a lot of the time to then see the necessary things you should be doing rather than other things that really don't help you get the right things done. And what we are doing differently with the Job Search Accelerator also is if you are interested in an internship, which the internship does two things. It helps you to get hands-on, whereby you can actually work on maybe some of our projects within Sarah projects, either as a project coordinator, or as a procurement coordinator, or whatever that is. Even if it's IT, we can still assign IT related stuff or business analyst related stuff. And this is something that you can do in addition to that job search guidance. So making it a 6 months, 6 months thing, where after going finishing this, if you got a job within the 3 months, great. But if you don't get a job within 3 months, at least you go with that experience that they are looking for after you're done within the 6 months period. And not only that, you also have references that we can provide that you have worked with us. Not only that, on your LinkedIn, this will read as an associate of serial projects. And all of this will be available in the 6 month subscription. So subscription here means that you're going to be paying something on a monthly basis for that 6 months period. So we see this as the right solution for the kind of challenges that front-end professionals are having. So the first step of the 3 months, even if you don't get the job, if you continue till you're done with the 6 months period, you're going with all of the things that they're asking have been issued, especially if you already have experience. Okay, this is something that is very very practical for those who already have prior experience. If you don't have certification, of course, you would need to enroll in certification, which is separate from this particular service itself. So what I will do is for those who might be interested in learning more, I will just share my link here. You can do a 15 minutes thing where I could learn. Maybe you have specific questions related to this particular service, and then after we talk for the 15 minutes, hopefully I'll be able to answer some of more questions you might have, which I know some of them will be prize and all this other type of stuff. So that is what I would do here. Let me get okay. So let me stop sharing this for now. Can you guys still hear me? Oh, okay. I think my computer is really under serious stress, so that's why it's okay. So let me close this for now. Just give me a second. Let me get that link. For whatever reason, it's not coming up. Okay, let's try it again. So if you haven't joined our network, also we have additional resources on our network. I will encourage you to join our network so you can learn more about what we do and how we can support. So aside from the jobs accelerator, these are the other things you could, additional resources you could have access to. The supply chain school, we have different training that are scheduled. We have SAPMM training scheduled, PMP training. We have CSCP certification. We also have analytics, so Excel analytics. And we have we're working on the business analysis and the data analytics trainings. And then we have career roadmaps. You can see the career roadmaps in supplyjobs.ca. Okay, let me stop sharing this. Maybe this will help because it looks like even my screen has disappeared. So the supplychainindustry.net is also a place where you can see more information. Let me put this here. I don't know why my Chrome seems to have crashed. Okay, supplyjobs.ca. That will get you more information about all our roadmaps. And then supply chain industry. This is also where you will see all the events, including the networking events that we have scheduled. Supplychainindustry.net. You'll see those here, including this one that we have today. That's actually where it's published. So for next week, you will see the session we're also going to have for next week. We're going to be talking to some of our colleagues who have been able to successfully transition to their desired career here in Canada. I think we have somebody from business analysis, somebody from procurement, and then one another person. So we'll be having about 3 colleagues who will be sharing their experience on their transition to their desired career. So you will see all this information on supplychainindustry.net. Which other things? So I think the supply chain school is where you will see the certifications trainings, the supply chain school, and we have some training scheduled already that you can enroll into. But if you do have questions, just reach out to me, and then I can provide more information. So let me see. So if you haven't introduced yourself before, or you haven't sent your LinkedIn URL, please do so now. Share your LinkedIn URL so that you can connect with people and you can start building that network. It's very critical. I'm trying to see if I can get my calendar here through another calendly.com. Okay. Login. Just in a second. Wait. Okay, so I'm trying to get my link so that for those who would like to talk more about the offers for the job search accelerator. Okay, so got it. So this is the link here. If you'd like to just schedule a 15 minutes chat to talk. Yeah. So I've also shared that link um, on the live stream as well. Okay. So I think that's all I have. Trying to see if there's any question. I don't still see any questions yet. Um, I believe we have been able to complete that survey. I want you please to help complete that survey before we go here. I even share the results with you while we're here. I think I've only seen 2 participants. So please complete that survey before you go. I'm gonna share the link again for the survey. Let me help complete the survey. That will help me to learn more about the challenges. Okay. Okay, so let me look at the result for that survey. Yeah, we only have 2 people so far. Let's help to complete it. Okay, so finally, let me share this. A second here. Let me share this short video with you guys about somebody who has also worked with us here um, on our network, and she's our experience with us, with others. So give me a second. Let me share my screen here. So while we're at the survey, we can watch this short video. You guys say you can't see the video? Can you guys see it now? Oh, okay. My bad. Okay, so that's a video of somebody who attended one of those events, and she's also one of our volunteers. She's been with Syria Project for some time. She's sharing our experience there on how the effective communication workshop has helped her to identify some of the language barriers she had when she came in newly to Canada, and that's experience she was sharing with us there. So I'm going to um, see if you guys have the surveys in now. Let's see if you have the surveys. Okay. I think more people, I think just about three responded so far. Um, so how would you rate your comfort level in professional networking situation in a new environment? So people here says they are comfortable. Which aspect of social skills do you find most challenging? I think it's all over the place here because there's only three people that responded. And do you feel that cultural differences impact your ability to navigate social interactions? It's also all over the place. How confident are you in expressing your ideas and opinions during meetings? Confident. Okay. What kind of support or resources would you find helpful in improving your social skills? Networking. For the most part, people says public speaking here. From the following socio-cultural barriers, please select the one that impacts you the most. So people said, for the most part, people think cultural differences in workplace communication is what impacts them the most. Okay, so that's it. If you haven't had time to look at that or fill that survey, please do so. Okay, so that's all I have today, guys. I don't see any questions in the comment section box here. So next Saturday, let's meet again, where we'll be having some guys share their experience with us, transitioning, and maybe we can learn from their experience as well. And those who will be interested in mock interview, um, peradventure you've been doing interviews, especially if you have been doing interviews and you've not been actually converting the interviews to job offer, do not hesitate to reach out. Like I said again, use that link. I'm going to share that link again. If you have anything you want to talk about, use this link to schedule that with me, and then we could also talk about mock interview if it's something that will be valuable to you. Our next mock interview is February 17th. February 17th. So if you would like to join, um, that will be very, very helpful, especially for those who have been doing interviews but not been able to convert it to a job offer. Okay, so that's it for me today. Unless you have anything, I'm gonna sign out here so that we could start, you know, um, other activities for today. Thanks for everybody who have joined. If, like I said earlier, if you have not been able to introduce yourself, please share your URL for LinkedIn, and then we can connect with you later. Share your LinkedIn URL, please, and then we can connect with you later. Um, and then for those who join us, who share their LinkedIn, if people connect with you, don't only connect with them on LinkedIn. Take it to the next level. Try to see if you can have a chat with them, or you can give a call, or you can talk on on Zoom. And besides that, also take interest in that person's journey as well. Think about how you can help, what resources you can provide. And for those who want to volunteer in our network, we're always looking for volunteers. There are different ways you can help. Like I said, this is also an opportunity for you to demonstrate your competence. Um, Reach out and we can talk more about that. Thanks, everybody, and you have a great weekend. And bye for now. So I'll leave the Zoom session on for some time so that anybody who wants to share their URL or wants to, connect or use the links we have there. So I'll leave it open for the next few minutes. Let's try again.